Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, not because of a noise, but because of that sudden stabbing pain pulling tight in your calf, forcing you to sit up and rub it desperately? If you're over 60, chances are you know that feeling all too well. Nighttime leg cramps, small, fleeting, yet powerful enough to make you feel like your own body is betraying you. I've met so many patients like this. One woman in her 70s once told me, "Doctor, every time a cramp hits, I feel like my legs don't belong to me anymore. I'm afraid to go to bed because I never know when the pain will strike." Have you ever felt like that? What many people don't realize is that these cramps are often the body's early warning signs, whispering before something bigger shows up. A cramp isn't just a muscle contracting. It's the body saying, "I'm missing nutrients. My blood flow needs help. My bones and muscles need to be nourished the right way." And sometimes the answer is surprisingly simple, hidden in everyday foods we often overlook. Let me paint this picture for you. A small little fish, eaten daily by the Japanese and the people of the Mediterranean, helping them keep strong, steady legs well into old age. That fish is the sardine. It may sound ordinary, but sardines are a true treasure. One small can carries a powerhouse of nutrition, vitamin D, calcium, and omega-3s. Vitamin D, you probably know it as the sunshine vitamin. But did you know it's the key that unlocks calcium for your bones? Without vitamin D, no matter how much calcium you take, it won't get absorbed properly. And as we age, our skin makes less vitamin D, especially if we don't get much sun. The result? Weaker bones, tired muscles, and yes, more cramps. Calcium, this is the foundation of strong bones, helping your legs carry your whole body. Without enough, bones thin out and muscles contract abnormally. The beauty of sardines is that you eat not just the flesh, but also the soft bones, packed with natural calcium that's easier for your body to use than a pill. And omega-3s, another gift. These healthy fats don't just nourish the heart, they keep blood flowing smoothly, reduce inflammation in the muscles, and help your legs move more freely. One of my patients, a man in his 60s, used to suffer cramps every single night. He had tried all kinds of supplements, but nothing worked, until he started adding sardines to his meals, just a few times a week. Slowly, the cramps disappeared. He told me, "Doctor, I can't believe it. A simple can of sardines changed my sleep." I smiled because I've seen it again and again in my practice. The right foods can heal in ways no pill ever could. Now you might ask, why sardines? Why not another fish? Because sardines are small, live short lives, and build up very little mercury, making them safer than big fish like tuna. They're also inexpensive, easy to find, and simple to prepare. You can eat them straight from the can, on whole grain toast, tossed into a salad, or cooked with vegetables. Picture your dinner plate, a fresh green salad, a slice of whole grain bread, topped with a few pieces of tender sardines. Not fancy, not complicated, but filled with strength for your legs. Science backs this up. Studies show people who eat fish regularly, especially small fish like sardines, have denser bones, fewer fractures, and fewer muscle cramps. In fact, research from Japan found that seniors who ate sardines often had significantly lower risk of osteoporosis. And here's something important. Strength in old age doesn't have to be built in a gym. It can be built right at your dinner table, with simple choices you repeat every day. Have you ever thought that your health could change from just one small decision? A can of sardines instead of a sugary snack. A salad with sardines instead of a salty bag of chips. You might not notice the difference in a day or two, but give it a few weeks and suddenly your nights are quieter, your mornings lighter, and your steps a little steadier. I believe aging isn't about losing strength. It's about learning how to nourish it with wisdom. And wisdom often begins with small acts. Listening to your body, honoring the simplest foods. Sardines may look ordinary, but they could be the key to helping you reclaim steady legs, confident steps, and peaceful nights without pain. So next time you're at the grocery store, pause by the canned food aisle, pick up a can of sardines, and think of your legs. Let food be your medicine, and let aging be a journey of freedom, not fear. And I'm home. Have you ever woken up in the morning, stepped out of bed, and felt your legs stiff, heavy, as if they had aged 10 years overnight? Or maybe you were out for a walk in the garden when suddenly a cramp grabbed your calf so hard you had to stop, hold your leg, and wonder, is my body trying to tell me something? I've heard this question from so many of my patients, most of them over the age of 60. And the answer, surprisingly, doesn't always lie in medication. It's often right there in the foods we eat every day. Today I want to share with you a humble little food that carries extraordinary power: the chickpea. Here in America, most people know it from hummus, that creamy, flavorful spread you dip with bread or veggies. But few realize that this tiny bean may be one of the quietest, most reliable friends your legs could ever have. One of my patients, Anne, 68 years old, struggled with nighttime cramps for years. She tried magnesium supplements, even light sleeping pills, but the pain kept waking her. She looked at me one day and said, "Doctor, I'm afraid to go to sleep. Every night I dread being woken up by that pain." Instead of writing another prescription, I asked her to try something simple: add chickpeas to her meals. A few weeks later, she returned with a smile. "I'm finally sleeping better. The cramps aren't keeping me up anymore." So what makes chickpeas so special? First, chickpeas are rich in magnesium, a mineral our bodies quietly lose as we age. Magnesium works like a switch for the nervous system and muscles. When there's enough, muscles contract and relax smoothly. When it's missing, they tighten up, misfire, and cramps strike. Second, chickpeas contain vitamin B6, a nutrient few people talk about, but one that plays a vital role. B6 helps your nerves send signals more smoothly, preventing that tingling, burning, or pins and needles feeling in your legs. Think of it as the oil that keeps your nerve pathways running without friction. When nerves work better, your muscles respond more gently, with fewer sudden spasms. And here's what I especially love about chickpeas: they provide clean, plant-based protein. After 60, many people cut back on meat, sometimes because of cholesterol concerns, digestive issues, or other health conditions. But your body still needs protein to repair and maintain muscle. Chickpeas offer the perfect solution: protein that's easy to digest, low in saturated fat, but powerful enough to keep your muscles nourished. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who eat more legumes, like chickpeas, tend to have stronger muscles, higher bone density, and fewer cramps. That's no accident. In Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cultures, where chickpeas are a daily staple, older adults often keep their mobility and leg strength far longer than we see here. Picture this: a warm bowl of chickpea soup on a winter evening, or a fresh summer salad with chickpeas, olive oil, and crisp vegetables. Not just a meal, but a gentle medicine for your muscles and nerves. And there's more: chickpeas are also high in fiber. Fiber doesn't just help digestion, it helps keep blood sugar steady. That's especially important for older adults, since fluctuating blood sugar can contribute to muscle spasms, something I've seen often in my diabetic patients. I remember another patient, Thomas, 72 years old, who laughed when he told me, "Doctor, I never thought eating hummus would help me play soccer with my grandkids again." But that's the truth. When you fuel your body with the right foods, you often get back joys you thought were gone forever. Now you might be wondering, how much do I need to eat? The answer's simple. Just half a cup to 1 cup of cooked chickpeas a day is enough to give your body magnesium, vitamin B6, and protein. You can put them in soups, toss them in salads, blend them into hummus, or even roast them for a crunchy snack. And the best part? Chickpeas are inexpensive, easy to find, and simple to cook. Eating healthy doesn't have to mean complicated recipes or expensive supplements. Sometimes it's as easy as opening a bag of beans. For me, aging isn't about losing strength. It's about learning how to live wisely. And wisdom often begins with realizing that small things, like a handful of chickpeas, can make a big difference in how strong your legs feel, how soundly you sleep, and how confidently you move through the day. So next time you're in the grocery store, skip the pharmacy aisle for a moment and stop by the dry bean section. Pick up a bag of chickpeas, and maybe, just maybe, a few weeks from now, you'll notice your steps feel lighter, your sleep comes easier, and your legs carry you with a strength you thought you had lost. Because when you put chickpeas on your plate, you're not just eating, you're giving your body a gift for your nerves, for your muscles, and for every step you'll take in the years ahead. Have you ever sat quietly in the middle of the night when, suddenly, your leg gave a little twitch, then slowly tightened into a painful cramp that forced you out of bed, massaging in desperation? Many of my patients describe it the same way. They say it feels like an electric current shooting through their calf, pulling every muscle fiber tight, and they often ask me, "Doctor, is there any way to stop these cramps without taking more pills?" My answer usually begins with something very familiar, something that's probably already sitting in your kitchen: turmeric. Now, turmeric isn't just the golden spice that makes curry look beautiful. To me, it's more like an ancient medicine, one that modern science has finally started to respect. Inside turmeric is a compound called curcumin, and hundreds of studies have now shown that curcumin has powerful anti-inflammatory effects, calms the nervous system, and helps muscles relax naturally. I want you to imagine this. Your legs are like an orchestra. Every nerve and every muscle fiber is an instrument. When the body's healthy, they play together in harmony. But when inflammation or nerve stress takes over, that orchestra becomes chaotic, and leg cramps are like those harsh, jarring notes that ruin the music. Curcumin is like the conductor, quietly raising a hand and restoring the rhythm. I once had a patient, James, 74 years old. He loved running, but in recent years, nighttime cramps had robbed him of both his workouts and his rest. After examining him, I suggested one simple change. Drink a warm cup of golden milk before bed, a mix of warm milk, a little turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper to help with absorption. At first he laughed, "Doctor, I don't believe a cup of yellow milk is going to beat this pain." But 3 weeks later, he came back with a smile I'll never forget. "I slept straight through the night. My legs feel lighter in the morning." Turns out, sometimes the miracle really is in the simple things. Science confirms this. Curcumin not only reduces inflammation, but also quiets down the overactive nerves that often trigger sudden spasms. It improves circulation too, helping oxygen and nutrients flow more freely to the muscles. And when your muscles are properly nourished, cramps lose their grip. Now you might ask, do I need to take turmeric supplements? Maybe, but in my experience, the most sustainable way is still through food. A pinch of turmeric stirred into soup, a teaspoon blended into your morning oatmeal, or that calming cup of golden milk before bed. Small, steady, and consistent. That's where the long-term benefit lies. Have you ever noticed that in India, where turmeric is part of nearly every meal, rates of chronic arthritis and leg cramps in older adults are much lower than in the West? That's not coincidence. That's the quiet power of a spice. I remember one evening, after finishing a long day of seeing patients, I made myself a simple turmeric tea with honey. As I sipped, I felt the warmth travel down my chest, into my belly, and all the way to my legs. And I thought, maybe what our bodies really need isn't something complicated. Maybe it's just this kind of gentle care, repeated daily. Aging to me isn't a decline. It's a reminder to live more wisely. Instead of waiting until our bodies cry out for help, why not nourish them ahead of time with the gifts nature has already given us? Turmeric is one of those gifts. So if your legs have ever betrayed you in the middle of the night, I want you to try this. Just a spoonful of turmeric each day. That's all it takes. Let curcumin quietly do its work, soothing, healing, and giving you back steady steps and peaceful nights of sleep. At 60, 70, even 80, your legs can still be strong. And sometimes that strength begins with nothing more than a pinch of golden spice from your own kitchen. Do you remember the last time you tossed and turned all night, your legs cramping, your mind exhausted because you just couldn't stay asleep? Most people think of cramps as just muscle spasms. But the truth is, they're also thieves of sleep. And when sleep is stolen, our health, our energy, and even our joy in life get carried away with it. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Helen, 71 years old. She came to see me with dark circles under her eyes, not from staying up late watching TV, but from being jolted awake 3 or 4 times every night by painful cramps. She said, "Doctor, it's not just the pain, it's the fear. I'm afraid to go to sleep because I know the cramps will come." After listening carefully, I suggested something she'd never considered before: tart cherries. those deep red, slightly sour cherries, often found frozen, dried without sugar, or as a juice concentrate. At first, she laughed. "Doctor, you mean fruit is going to fix my legs?" I smiled, because I knew sometimes the simplest things bring the biggest changes. You see, tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins, natural compounds that reduce inflammation in blood vessels. That means better circulation, more oxygen, more nutrients reaching your muscles, and a lower risk of cramping. But that's not all. Tart cherries also help regulate melatonin, the sleep hormone. Drinking a small glass of tart cherry juice before bed is like sending your body a gentle signal. It's time to rest now. For people who suffer from nighttime cramps, deep, uninterrupted sleep is one of the greatest gifts. In fact, a study in Japan followed older adults who consumed tart cherry extract daily. The results were striking. Within just 10 days, their nighttime cramps decreased significantly. I wasn't surprised. I had already seen the same results in my own clinic. 2 weeks after trying it, Helen returned, and her eyes looked brighter. "Doctor," she said, "I finally slept through the night. No more cramps waking me up. Who would have thought a little juice could change my nights?" Have you ever felt that way? That deep relief of waking up refreshed after a full night's sleep? It doesn't just make your legs feel stronger, it makes your spirit feel younger. Now you may be wondering, do I just grab the sweet cherries from the grocery store? The answer is no. What you need are tart cherries, the sour ones. They're the ones packed with anthocyanins, the ones that make a real difference for circulation, muscle relaxation, and sleep. And you don't need much, just 1 or 2 tablespoons of concentrated juice mixed with water each evening, or a small handful of frozen tart cherries added to your yogurt or smoothie. It's not about a big dose, it's about steady, daily use. I remember one older gentleman, 76 years old, who once told me, "Doctor, I don't need to be rich. I just want one good night's sleep without pain." When he started drinking tart cherry juice, he said, "I feel like I got a piece of my youth back." That's the beauty of it. Good health in our later years doesn't always come from complicated treatments or expensive supplements. Sometimes it's hidden inside something as small as a cherry. So here's what I want you to take away. Treat cramps as a signal. Your body's asking for help, and tart cherries may be one of the gentlest, most effective ways to answer that call. You don't have to believe me right away. Just try it for 10 days. Pay attention to your body, and you may discover that a small change at the dinner table can return to you peaceful nights, stronger steps, and the freedom to keep moving confidently into your 60s, 70s, and even 80s. There's a saying I often repeat to my older patients: bones are the frame of the house, and muscles are the walls that keep it standing. If the frame weakens, everything else begins to shake. And to nourish that frame, sometimes the answer lies in something surprisingly simple: ricotta cheese. Now you might be thinking, "Doctor, isn't cheese full of fat and cholesterol?" And yes, some types are. But ricotta is different. It's light, creamy, and packed with calcium and easily absorbed protein, the two golden keys for stronger bones, healthier muscles, and fewer cramps. I remember one of my patients, Laura, age 69. She told me, "I stopped eating cheese because I was afraid it would hurt my heart. But when I introduced her to ricotta, she tried just a little with breakfast, spread on whole grain bread, or mixed with fruit. A few months later, she came back smiling. 'Doctor, I can still enjoy my meals and my legs feel stronger. My bones feel sturdier.'" What makes ricotta so special is how easy it is to digest. Unlike heavy red meats that can sit uncomfortably in the stomach, ricotta's protein is gentle. And when your body has enough protein, muscles can repair themselves, reducing fatigue and those painful spasms. The calcium in ricotta is also more natural than many pills, making it easier for aging bones to absorb and hold on to their strength. I often tell my patients, instead of reaching for another supplement, try adding just a spoonful of ricotta to your meal. It doesn't just nourish the body, it brings a little joy too. That creamy, comforting taste adds warmth to your table, and joy in eating is, in itself, a part of good health. Picture this: morning sunlight shining into your kitchen. On the table, a slice of whole grain bread, spread with smooth white ricotta, topped with fresh berries. You take a bite, and you're not just enjoying breakfast. You're giving your legs, your bones, your future self a gift. It's not just a meal, it's a way of life, a way of caring for yourself with love. And now, after walking together through 5 powerful foods, from sardines with vitamin D and omega-3s, to chickpeas rich in magnesium and B6, to turmeric with its healing curcumin, to tart cherries that restore restful sleep, and now ricotta, nourishing both bones and muscles. I want to ask you, which of these foods feels most familiar to you, and which one are you excited to try this week? Have you already used any of these in your own journey to reduce cramps and strengthen your legs? Please share your experience in the comments below. I read almost every comment, and I truly value the stories you tell, because your story doesn't just help me, it helps our entire community learn from and encourage one another. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button so YouTube knows topics like this matter to you. And if you'd like to keep walking this path with me, a 60-year-old doctor still sharing health wisdom with honesty and care, then please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss the next video where we'll explore more simple, natural, but powerful ways to stay strong after 60. And if you know a friend or loved one struggling with leg cramps or feeling their strength fade, share this video with them. Sometimes one small tip can give someone back a peaceful night's sleep. Remember, strength in our later years isn't built only in the gym. It's built at the dinner table. And sometimes it begins with a can of sardines, a bowl of chickpeas, a teaspoon of turmeric, a glass of tart cherry juice, or a spoonful of ricotta. I'm Doctor. Your name, and I believe that being 60, 70, or even 80 is not the end of strength. It's an invitation to live wiser, fuller, and more joyfully. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next video.